Chapter 44. The stranger continues. And the speaker at the other table continued. The word, coming alive from our hearts, however, is what I want to have designated as the preparations for the love to God, which is the true food for the Spirit. I say to you, the Word, yes, the living, true, right Word from the bottom of our hearts, is all in all. It penetrates matter, dissolves it into the spiritual, and then nourishes with the resolution of matter the spirit. This is then, as I have mentioned before already, namely, that only the spirit nourishes the spirit, the soul nourishes the soul, and matter nourishes matter. For the word in us, as the itself clearly spoken thought in the heart, seizes matter, divides it, and contemplates its wondrous structure. In this contemplation, the soul saturates itself already, because the delightful feeling of the soul during the contemplation of marvellous beautiful forms is its saturation. However, man has been so arranged by the Creator that the saturation of one part always causes a certain hunger of another. But to understand this quite in depth, an example will assist us, and thus pay close attention with a good heart. If your body is hungry, you always yearn for a good meal. And if you sit at a fully laid table, you are also joyful, for now you can satisfy the torturing hunger. But if it would mean for you to sit for a full 8 days at the table, or for a month, or even a year, say, would you not be consumed by the most terrible boredom? Yes, I tell you, my beloved friends, brothers and sisters, in such case, you surely would begin to despair. However, if this is undeniably the case, I can ask, why the boredom and despair? Because the body is then saturated. Because the saturation of the body ensures the certain stimulation of hunger of the soul, which always expresses itself in the bitterly felt, desperate boredom. But what is needed to, after the saturation of the body, also saturate the soul? One gets up from the table and go outside, for example, on a small hill, or in a beautiful garden, where the soul then can saturate itself with the beautiful forms, like the song of birds, or with the ethereal, spiritual scents of flowers, and with other similar types of amenities for the soul. But if someone has considered things like this for long enough, and thus has sufficiently saturated his formerly hungry soul, also these delightful dishes will soon begin to bore him, and he will soon begin to long either for home to saturate his body again, which became hungry again through the saturation of the soul, with a good bite, or in better circumstances, the spirit will begin to stir, and will tell the body through the soul, I am terribly hungry. But how will this hunger express itself? Through an ever-increasing burning curiosity. He will want to understand matter and its beautiful forms, because as they are not fit for him to enjoy. They must be resolved through fire, light, and sufficient truth. But what is the fire? It is desiring love. What is the light? It is the thought, clearly spoken in the heart. What is the truth? It is the emerging and pronounced word resulting from the fire and the light. Through this word, we then get solid matter and its lovely shape, resolve the matter, and find in the resolved matter the explanation and spiritual meaning of the form. Thereby our spirit becomes delighted, and this satisfied, blissful ecstasy is then already the strengthening saturation for the spirit, because he finds in it his home, his rest, his material, his origin, and in it his true love for God and God's almighty love for him. And the spirit then falls in full love and humility down before the infinite love of God, gives thanks to God, and truly prays to God. And God is then his main saturation for eternal life. Thus, we want to look at the works of God and seek his great love and mercy in it. And if someone has found something, he makes it audibly known to all his brothers through good, true words, and he and they will then be uplifted in the spirit and in truth. And this upliftment is then the true, living food for the spirit, by which he vigorously begins to act in love for God, which work is then also the true, eternal life. Here the speaker stopped, but all the people were amazed about his wisdom, and Lamech was almost beside himself. But Enoch reassured him and said, "Be patient, because the speaker has not finished yet. But when he will be done speaking, only then we want, as I have already noted, exchange a few words about it."